Good morning and welcome to our thought for the week this week. We're right about in the middle of October, and as you may have guessed by looking around me, we're going to be thinking about light. And the reason I've been thinking about light recently is because the days have been getting darker. The days for me wearing my shorts are getting less and less, the nights are getting cooler, and we're approaching the time when our clocks change. The clock will go back and again things will appear darker. And so that got me thinking about how good it is that we have lights. And I love light. Growing up, I was always one for buying different lights. As you can see, these are all my collection of various different lights. And that's not all of them. I just loved lights and loved watching the Christmas tree lights, or the multicoloured LEDs that change, or my lava lamp, which hasn't quite heated up yet. But it was all about light, and I love the fact that in a dark room, light can do some amazing things. We've just recently, after having been in our house for more than a year, put the final lampshade in one of the rooms, and it has holes around the lampshade, and depending on what type of bulb you put in, it does different things. If you've kind of 60 watt or below, it kind of is just like a light, but if you go just above the 60 watt, it creates this amazing pattern on the wall, which is quite nice, unless you bump into it, in which case it kind of turns the room into a bit of a disco ball and you can feel a bit sick. But on the whole, it is quite nice, and it's nice to be able to see the light in the darkness. And we may feel that we've just been through a period of darkness, or that we're about to potentially go into another period of darkness where things maybe aren't looking so good. Our hospitals are filling up again, we may be in another lockdown, and it can be worrying. And I know I'm worrying about that too, in terms of we seem to have been making progress and now we're going back, or worried about mental health and whether we can kind of take that lockdown again. But these things must be done. And so seeing light in the midst of darkness gives us hope. And I think a lot of us are kind of well versed in knowing that Jesus is the light of the world, and he does give us hope. But I want to reflect on a thought that came to my head in the middle of the night. Now, it doesn't happen very often, but occasionally Jemima, our daughter, will wake up in the middle of the night, and she'll maybe just need a little bit of reassurance that we're there, and she'll go back over. So she doesn't really wake up a whole lot in the middle of the night, which we're really thankful for. But a couple of times now, as I've gone to go to Jemima's room to sort her out, the window of the spare room at the front of the house has been, the blinds have been open, and one of the neighbours across the road, they have their outdoor light on, and I didn't really think outdoor lights were that bright. But these couple of nights I noticed this strange light on the wall as I was going towards Jemima's room, and it was only then when I turned around and I looked, and I could see that the light from the neighbour's house, which is a good bit across a little bit of grass and 2 bits of road, this light was lighting up our hall in the house. And it made me wonder, are we like that as Christians? Are we lighting up other people's lives? Are we a light in our street, in our neighbourhood, in our work environments? Or are we something else? Let me read a verse from Matthew chapter 5 that really grounds this whole thought in scripture. Jesus is talking to the disciples, and he's just said you must be salt and light. And I think verse 16 hits the nail on the head. It says, "In the same way, your light must shine before people, so that they will see the good things you do and praise your Father in heaven." I wonder, are we a light? Do people know that we're Christians? Do they know that we're Christians because we grumble about how bad the world is, or because we grump about all of the rules and regulations that we have to follow? Or do they know that we're Christian because we are light? Are we bringing hope and brightness to our community? I've just been in my usual meeting with our minister Roy, and we were talking about that. How can we be good neighbours to those around us? How do people around us know that we are Christians? How can we be equipping ourselves and helping our neighbours and our work colleagues and our friends to know that not only are we Christians, but we are Christians that are full of hope, that point to the good things that the good Father has done for us. So as the days get shorter and the nights get darker, and as maybe you start to see, hopefully not just yet, but the Christmas decorations popping up, or the street lights coming on a bit earlier, or your neighbour flicking on their outside light, think about how you can be light to your friends and neighbours. Even those small gestures that let them know that not only are you thinking of them, but you're thinking of humanity as a whole and wanting to reach out on behalf of God. So I encourage you, as you see the light around us, help your neighbours see the light that you have seen through Jesus.